Hello and welcome to another ep of Cappy Hour. Got a little ginger tea on the brew here. So today I wanted to talk about something that I've been focusing on deeply, particularly recently, which is the art of loving yourself silly. And loving yourself silly no matter what. So I feel like I used to have all of these rules. My whole life I've had these rules that have changed every now and then, but rules for loving self. So I will love and accept myself if I work out, if I eat well, if I respond to all my messages and don't feel guilty for leaving anyone out of the loop. Basically, I will love myself if I am perfect and respond in these ways that don't bring about any negative emotions. It makes it a little bit tough because obviously being human means that you are going to fall short at times, say things you don't mean, have days where you're too buggered to work out, have days where you want to have ice cream, have moments where you're doing things out of emotion to soothe. This has been my biggest focus recently. Can I love myself even though I'm not perfect? And it's also about, can I love myself and go towards my quirks even harder? Tying in with this notion of can I love myself without conditions? I'm naturally just not someone who wants to go with the grain, and not as a bid to cause a ruckus, but I just really love the idea of thinking for myself and celebrating that in other people. It got me thinking about what is independence. To me, independence is independent thinking. In the past, I've done things where I've been like, I don't want to be too fixed, static with an opinion, because I want to be able to, change my mind and hold many opinions at once. And people have been like, you're such a contradiction. And I've been like, no, I just change my mind because that's what it's all about. So I think independent thinking, independent dreaming, so really sitting with yourself, not just for an hour, not for just 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, but sitting with yourself often, thinking about your dreams. And this is one that my boyfriend spurred on within me. He was just like, what do you want? What is it? What do you want? And I was just like, he'd asked me this a year ago and I didn't really know. And then it got me really thinking. I sat and wrote all of these things that I want. And it just got me really dreaming on wow, with nobody else's opinions, what does Capucine want? And it's just funny that you can't really go and outsource this stuff and be like, what do you think about it? It's you really just got to follow that feeling, that little inner knowing that is just there when you sit quiet. So independent thinking, independent dreaming, independent expression. I just really love this idea, which is something I want to do more, is just having opinions and also just being strong in those opinions. I'm swayed. You can change my mind, change it, please. I'd love you to. But I also want to be a little bit just more unwavering. Instead of being I just want to keep everyone pleased, just being a little bit more I actually believe this. Not being fixed, but just being something tells me, something tells me this. So this is what I believe. So I feel that independence is also caring for the self. So what Laura said on the potty last week, which will come out soon, is we were talking on the topic of balance, and she was like, well, balance to me is closeness with self. The closer I am with self, the closer I am with knowing what I need, where I'm out of balance, where I need less of this, more of this. So I really believe that independence is, really knowing how to care for self. Independence to me is also making decisions instead of waiting for what other people want, just being this is what I want. I feel like that is a real power move, because we're all going to want very different things. I guess it would be a comfy little blanket if we all, with our best friends and partners, wanted to do the same things all the time, but it's not going to be like that because we all have different preferences. So I found so much beauty in sitting with that prompt of what do I want? What does Capucine want? So in the realms of this decision making under the bracket of independence, I've been thinking a little bit more about polarities. So, the feminine, again, little recap, flowing is the feminine, is the creative, the intuitive, doing things without needing necessarily an outcome. And then the masculine of more making a plan, having a goal, having a North Star, chipping daily. So I've been really loving the idea of having a bit more of a plan and, yeah, being a little bit more firm on that as opposed to flowing and being like, whatever's meant for me won't miss me, which is great, super important. We got to have both. But I felt a little bit more in the feminine flowing things. But then I realized that the stuff will happen much quicker if you've got a bit of a plan. I really like this. I really like this. It's very empowering to be, sit with the self. Super uncomfortable to begin with because I'm sitting here going, I don't know what I want. I don't know. The more I've sat with myself, the more I've been like, no, I do know. I know. So deeply I know. And then things also come through in fully random ways. So my next hyperfixation is all surrounding the mind, the inner monologue of the words that you speak to yourself. I'm in this new era. Something has shifted. I don't know what happened, but I'm thinking differently. I'm moving differently. My heart's feeling different. And I'm feeling pretty locked in, we'll say. Tell me that you're nearly ovulating without telling me. I've been thinking a lot on what am I thinking, and obviously this process of detaching so much from what I am thinking, but then also creatively being like, ooh, I want to lace my mind with some nice thoughts. Like, I want my thoughts to be my friends, because there's always going to be thoughts up here. Well, the more we meditate, the more we can kind of create space. But I've really enjoyed this process of rewiring my mind. It's such a process, but I do feel like it can become really enjoyable if you decide to lace it with that intention. It started out basically the other day when I was like going through this process 2 days out from period where you get a bit existential, and I was like, everything I make is shit. I was like editing 3 podcasts and being like, what I say is shit, what I ask is shit, everything I shoot is shit, I'm shit, I'm fat, my skin's fucked, I suck. I was just thinking pretty deeply on like how I want to think of myself. It's pretty common news that I've had quite a bit of trouble with body image in this lifetime. It's been something that I've just struggled with, and I think is something that collectively a lot of the girls struggle with, and probably the men too, because I've had a boy who I really wouldn't have expected this to come out of his mouth say to me, what about male body image? I also struggle. And I was like, ooh, maybe we're just not talking about it and all sort of having a little bit of resistance with it. Maybe it's time mummy brings it up. So basically I've been trying to rewire the shit out of my self-talk with my body. So I treat my body well, I'll feed it well, I'll move it as much as I possibly can, and more as well. And I've just been sort of slowly lacing it with these new thoughts, having a bit more of a mindfulness process with that. More of this hands on the belly, like thank you, like this belly literally creates life. We spend so much time hating on our belly and then we just go and pop a baby out. I'm in this new thing of just, it's been a process. I've been at it for so freaking long, a couple of steps forward, a few steps back, but just finding any possible way that I can love myself more, love my belly more, love what I feed it more. And then, just watching the energy of the belly and just giving it like thanks and just like appreciating it and respecting it. And then also being okay with this new thing of I'm going to chip away at strengthening it too at the gym. And I want my goal to be like, I love myself in all my fluctuations. I love myself when I put on a little bit more weight. I love myself when I eat a little bit more. I just love the whole thing because it's never going to be fully linear. Just challenging myself to look myself in the mirror and be like, what can I find that is beautiful? And maybe it sounds a little bit counterintuitive if we're trying to detach from how we look, and I still think I'm getting around in a vessel and I'd rather love it than kill myself over it. So I think this like watching the inner monologue thing can reverberate out onto so many different things. The thoughts that I think about my work, for example. Now I'm just trying to be like, very much the approach of you've done enough. If you die tomorrow, you've done enough. And I think because my new motto is chip away daily, chip away, chip, chip, do a little bit on the potty, a little bit on kinesi, even if it's a little brainstorming session, work on it as much as you can to, promote forward movement, basically. So when you're doing the thing, I think it's a little bit easier to be softer with the self. I've really enjoyed applying that to how I work out, how I interact with people. Accepting myself means I'm accepting everyone else more. I think, applying this like positive monologue, slowly just having a bit of fun with it. Yeah, I'm just so freaking done with not accepting myself. It's like, it's just so tiring. And if I can look at everyone else and find beauty in them and the way they move through life and the way they hold themselves, I'm like, why can't I? Let's be real, the way we think about life, the way we perceive things, the way we think about self governs our whole reality. So from those tricky things that happened in my childhood, it has now created a nervous system that functions the way that it does. I thought it would be cool to share that, life is tough. It ain't easy, and all of us want to feel positive emotions, but is not always going to be like this. So we're all going to experience stress. We're going to experience stress that is not good for the body. We're going to experience stress that is all goods for the body and stress that motivates us. Healthy stress, we'll call it. So the nervous system is made up of the brain, the spinal cord, and heaps of nerves, and they all kind of interact together. And these all help you to move, think, and feel. They also create voluntary movements and involuntary movements. So the voluntary movements would be like talking and walking, and involuntary would be more like breathing and digestion and things like this. The nervous system controls response to stress, wound healing, senses coordination, and so much more. The other thing with the nervous system is that we inherit a lot of our parents' nervous system. So I've enjoyed the process of going back and being like, ooh, where was mum at when she had me? What was she going through? Where was she at? How was she feeling? So obviously we get a little bit of our parents' nervous system. We pick things up along the way. We drop things off. We pick other things up. Relationships govern how we feel about ourselves. And the best thing about the nervous system is that there's all these little techniques that you can implement to calm it or to bring it up. So there's this theory called, I believe it's called the polyvagal theory, potentially. I'll talk about the 3 tiers. So I'll start with the bottom tier, which is that tier I was talking to you about, which is basically shut down and overwhelm. I think we all get there, but I don't know, maybe we don't. It's basically when nothing inspires you, you just cannot think of anything worse than doing anything other than sleeping. It's just like nothing to give energy, checked out, trapped, helpless. And I find the recipes for that rung are nature, because she's so rejuvenating, and softness as much as you can like cultivate. Just being okay with the fact that everything flows through. The less we resist, the quicker it'll move through. It's another art, another practice of surrender once more, being with it and being the observer of that moment in life where you're like, holy, I don't know if I'm ever going to move out of this because my energy is so low. So that is dorsal vagal, which is, the low rung. And then the middle tier is fight or flight / danger, which randomly you can function pretty well here. You've still got this like energy in this go. You're not fully like overwhelmed, but it is where you're gonna perceive a lot more threat. So the emotions are more like panic, fear, anxiety, worry, frustration, irritation, anger, and rage. So you can still move forward in life, but your body is under a state of stress. So when you're in this state called the sympathetic state, you're going to want to do things that I just spoke on: nature, breath, slowing down, being very hydrated, because your body just functions better when you're hydrated. It is not rocket science. Like, you think better thoughts when you're hydrated. Like, everything about being hydrated, there's nothing bad about being hydrated. In these two states, the middle state and the bottom state, it's like very important that you're just being as kind to self as you possibly can, because otherwise you can really get stuck there. And yeah, in those moments, my biggest tips are like, the morning matters. The first morning decisions matter so much. How am I waking up? What am I doing first? How can I choose little things this morning? A little gratitude process, a little prayer. I'm making my bed. I'm having a cup of water. I'm taking my supplements. I am present as much as you can cultivate. And then the top tier is one that nobody wants to come down off. It's ventral vagal, which is, I am at peace, I am safe, I am social, I am communicative, I am connected. It's basically just when you're like in full flow. You're on vacay with the crew, no reception, you're sitting in your camp chair, you got your little ice cold kombucha. The more we realize that happiness is a choice, thank you, Mum, the more we can sort of water ourselves daily to feel like we have the space to choose that happiness and to stay in that peaceful, content state. If you're finding yourself in any sort of low state, go back to basics: water, food, movement, connection with other, and if you don't feel like connecting with other, connection with self, moving out of the head and into the heart. And if you're too much in the heart, feeling, not looking too much into the future, just full van life, maybe making a little bit more of a plan, like a little list, make it a little bit fun. And yeah, just knowing that things will change if you chip daily. Yeah, that's my thing now. If I get a little bit low, back to basics, pat on the back for anything that I do, anything at all. And just knowing that tomorrow's a fresh day and we've got time, but not too much time. So the time is now. I think there's this new collective kind of energy of people being a little bit more expressive, a little bit more unapologetic. And if you're feeling little tidbits of that, I think let's all go towards it and see what can happen if we challenge ourselves to be ourselves and to be more unapologetic about that. Go towards the quirks. It's easy to love the things that are great. It's easy. Now we've got to love the things that are a little bit harder to love. And then that's an integrated person.